Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this video lesson about absolutism and the Big Five. This is part 3 of 4 video lessons. I am Miss Jennifer Blank, and I will be your guide on this journey, in case you didn't already figure that out from the first 2 video lessons. All right, not funny? Okay. All right, so review again. I cannot overemphasize this enough. What is absolutism? It is the exercise of complete and unrestricted power of a government by a monarch whose power comes directly from God. If you are looking for the person who is the poster child of this, it is Louis XIV of France. Louis XIV. Absolutism, Louis XIV. Do it in your mind right now. Absolutism, Louis XIV. All right, so dates. Again, the official range, which you do need to know for the AP exam, is 1550 to 1800. But to focus your study habits and to make this content actually manageable, focus your attention from 1650 to 1789. That will make it a bit more manageable. All right, so the Big Five: England, France, Austria, Prussia, and Russia. All right, I know there's a lot of IAs at the end of these. But anyway, keep those straight, figure them out. These are the Big Five. You must know them. All right, let's talk about Austria. All right, so Austria, let me move myself a little bit up here. There we go. So Austria had some issues because of the 30 Years' War. All right, well, it started because of the 30 Years' War. So this divided Germany, this war. Remember, this was the last of the religious wars. Okay, the last of the religious wars was the 30 Years' War. The Peace of Westphalia settled the war. You must know about the Peace of Westphalia. This is a key term. All right, it divided Germany into 300 mini-states. It made it impossible for the Habsburgs, who were the rulers of what empire? What empire? Oh, that's right, the Holy Roman Empire, such as it was. I use the term empire loosely. But it made it impossible for those guys, the Habsburgs, to consolidate power. So 2 powerful families dominated, right? Because with 300 mini-states, somebody's got to rise in that power vacuum and take some control. So you have the Habsburgs, which are ruling Austria, and the Hohenzollern. I probably said that wrong, but that's okay. We all know by this point my pronunciation is absolutely terrible. They were ruling Prussia, and Prussia's our next topic, but that's in a few minutes. All right, so let me move myself down again right over here. Okay, so HRE was FUBAR, okay, after the 30 Years' War. FUBAR is a technical term and stands for freaked up beyond all recognition, okay, so it was completely done after the 30 Years' War. Most of their empire was lost in that peace, in the Peace of Westphalia. So we have Ferdinand II, king monarch in the Holy Roman Empire. So 1619 to 1637, that was the years that he reigned. He beat Bohemia in the 30 Years' War, and this allowed them to consolidate power in the region. He also crushed the Bohemian nobility. Ferdinand III centralized government and created a permanent standing army. He took over immediately after and ruled for another 20 years. All right, the Habsburgs, let me see if I can move. There we go, move that over a little bit. The Habsburgs did not effectively crush nobility in other areas under their control, sadly. Nobility prevented full development of absolutism, and attempts to control Hungary, like their other territories, were completely unsuccessful. They were successful in other areas, but for the most part, it was an epic fail. Okay, Vienna became a thriving capital city, so good times, good job on that one. Catholicism helped create a national identity, except for, in all the states that were Protestant. And German was the official language of their territories. They did have a couple of successes, but largely, not so much. Prussia. Let's talk about Prussia. All right. Again, this is a review from before. You have to understand that this Prussia, Austria, these Ushas matter quite significantly, and they're all connected. So, okay, we divided Germany. Peace of Westphalia. Maybe I should try to talk slower. Settled this war, and you have 2 powerful families dominating. All right, in Prussia, they're extremely militaristic. Remember how I said on that first slide with the Big Five that they were kind of like a Sparta wannabe? They didn't quite get there, but they did pretty good. They became the most powerful of the German states, okay, largely due to this militaristic sentiment. They are the heart, or they were the heart of what we now think of as Germany, okay? So that name right there, Frederick William, ruled 1640 to 1688. Okay, he consolidated territory. He weakened the nobles by weakening the parliamentary estates. Now, in Prussia, you have a similar setup like you had in France with the 3 estates. It's a similar setup. So he weakened those folks. He tripled state revenue and massive expansion of the army. So he did a pretty good job. Certainly from an absolutist perspective. Frederick the First, he ruled right after until 713. He supported the Holy Roman Emperor in the War of Spanish Succession, and in exchange, he received the title of the King of Prussia. So he did pretty well for himself, Frederick the First did. All right. Let me move myself up here a little bit. All right. So Frederick William I, he was 1713 to 1740. He eradicated the parliamentary states. So let's go back a second. So here we have Frederick William, who weakened the nobility by weakening the parliamentary states. This guy completely got rid of them, just like alles kaput, off with your head. That's it. You're done. He is credited with establishing truly Prussian absolutism. So if you're going to remember anybody, you should remember this guy, Frederick William I. Okay, he transformed Prussia into a military state, and he built an effective and honest bureaucracy. All right, which is impressive in this day and age. I mean, creating an honest bureaucracy at any age is impressive. But yeah, so if you're going to remember somebody from Prussia, it's this guy. All right, so he had the best army in Europe. He had forced conscription. Now, what that means is people were forced to serve. At a certain age, you had to go into the military. His civil society was rigid and disciplined, and peasant life was harsh and heavily controlled. So quality of life wasn't so good. But in terms of power, he had it, and he had a lot of it. That's the end of part 3. I will see you in part 4.